God, we gotta figure out a way to be able to like let the beat drop on that intro. I don't know why. I just like it's such a cutoff, and then here we are, and here we are. Hey there, hi there, oh there. Heavy Hockey Podcast, episode 9, fellas. Good to see you tonight. Before we get started, the routine letting you know that thanks for listening. Thanks for being here with us. We are live on EST. As always, your clear choice for Edmonton sports. Thanks for tuning in across all the video and audio streams, whether you are on TuneIn, iHeart, EdmontonSportsTalk.com, Kevin McCurdy's Twitter. You never know how you might find us. Wherever you find us, feel free to join us on the YouTube channel. You can find us under Heavy Hockey at YouTube, and that is an excellent way to get involved in the chat, which is always spicy. We are at the precipice of a pretty cool game coming up here against the San Jose Sharks. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about what's happened in the last 3 games. We're going to talk about, what's been going on outside the ice, off the ice, rumors. It's all right here. We got my regular crew of characters, at least 2 of them tonight. Bob the Goalie, welcome. How you doing, buddy?
Very good. What's up, man?
Oh, there's a lot. There's a lot up if we're going to talk about our hockey club, that's for sure. Lotsy, as always, you can find him at Lots Ryan or at Bob the Goalie if you actually want to find Bob. But who really wants to find Bob? How you doing, Ryan?
Good. Happy to be here as always.
Awesome to have you. Well, I'd say we start by maybe looking backwards. The Oilers are Oilering, if that's a good way to put it. We are at Game 5, I believe, after Game 5, approaching Game 6 on this 8-game homestand. In very typical Oilers fashion, these 5 games have gone 2-2-1. Can't win 3 in a row to save our life. That said, we've won 2 in a row. There's an opportunity, 3 ahead. We'll get to that when we talk about the Sharks later on in the show. 2 in a row, were they pretty? I'm not sure. They were fun to watch. That said, before that, they took a crap against Pittsburgh. So, I don't know. Let's kind of tell you what I thought about those 3 games. I'd like to dig into them a little bit because I've done some research, which I might have left upstairs. Dang it. That said, I think I know it pretty well. Look at Game 1, absolute faceplant. Pittsburgh comes in and scores 3 times in the first 3 minutes. It's basically over before you finish your first sip. Oilers lose 6-2. Why didn't Jari get pulled in that game? I don't think the coach thought they had a chance of winning it. Game 2, chaos. Absolute total chaos hockey. Evan Bouchard puts up 6 points. McDavid puts up 5 points, wins it in overtime. Oilers win 6-5. Records broken. Milestones set. We'll get into some of that. Game 3, I don't know, guys. Same movie, different villain. Like, Ducks turn that game into a track meet, which kind of suits the Oilers. At the end, they beat them in that track meet. Ekholm somehow drops a hat trick the night after. Bouchard drops a hat trick. More records set. More milestones hit. 2 empty netters. The Oilers win at 7-4. We'll get into that next game against San Jose, but I'll go straight to you, Bob. Where have we been over these last 5 games, last 3 in particular? What are you seeing, top line?
Well, we've been all over the map these last 3 games. Like all 3 games were so vastly different and entertaining in their own way. I'm with you in that Pittsburgh game. I was a bit surprised that we didn't pull Jari. I know you're saying maybe save Ingram for the next game, get him full start, but then we end up doing it to Ingram a couple games later. So even if you don't blame the goalie per se, but it's just a change of pace, a different look, just to change something. And besides always juggling the line. So having said that, Jari battled decently the rest of that game, held his own. But, at that point, the cake had already been baked kind of thing. The Bouchard game is a legacy game for Bouchard. That was ridiculous. But that's something like I don't remember seeing since Paul Coffey, pretty much, that kind of dominant offensive output. He was actually pretty solid defensively as well. That huge diving stop in the blue line there with and what have you. Like he was all over the place. And that was definitely Bouchard's best game in the NHL so far. Unfortunately, he didn't follow it up very strongly the next game, but thankfully his D partner did. But that
Yeah.
was, I know it was
Not
plastered all over Twitter.
defensively.
It was plastered all over Twitter. It was plastered all over online. Echo and Bouchard hat tricks. The first time that has ever happened in the 108-year history of the NHL. I mean, I was just 6 years old when the NHL got formed. I mean, that's a long time.
Not sure what I have to say about that. Yep, I think the game they pulled Ingram, they thought they still had a chance, right? So you give I don't know, either Jari a chance to battle out of it and just work through it, so you're not pulled and maybe mentally hurt for the next game. Work through it. Ingram, I think they thought they had a chance to win that game, and the pull made more sense there. But Lotsy, overall, whatever you want to do, buddy. Last five, last three, last two. What do you see?
Yeah, we can stick to this homestand, but yeah, that Penguins game, that was a weird one just because it was over in the blink of an eye. It felt like, right? Those first three goals, it was 37 seconds apart, and within the first, 3.5 minutes of the game, and it was just so weird. Like, I don't know why more coaches don't do something, whether it's a pull or at least a timeout after the second goal when you feel it piling up on your team like that. I think a timeout after that second goal at that stage in the game would have made more sense than a pull, in my opinion. I Part of it may have been they didn't want to embarrass Jari by pulling him in front of his ex team. That may have played a factor in it as well.
Absolutely.
I mean, a three goal deficit, 17 minutes left in the first period, like 3 minutes into the game. I'm sorry, you've got time to come back and win that. You've got time to claw your way back into that. And they did for a minute there, but then Pittsburgh pulled away. That Chinikov shot was unbelievable. Like, not much Jari could have done on that. And Malkin made a nice move on that, on his breakaway goals. I mean, the Oilers just laid an egg on that in that game. That's one, not another one where you burn the tape, but we've had a few too many of those, especially at home this season. So that's frustrating.
It almost felt like first three goals, 3 minutes, it's over. Don't hurt Sid for the Olympics.
Or Connor.
Yeah.
The Washington game, you can't add too much more onto what you guys have already said about Bouchard's night. 6 points, hat trick, first time since '86 where a D-man for the Oilers gotten more than 6 points. First time since '06 we had a defenseman hat trick, and we only had to wait 48 hours for another one with Ekholm. So that's so crazy. Just
and another 48 hours for another one.
Let's hope. Darnell Nurse.
No, well, not in Oilers, but Darlene and across the league.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
it's contagious,
man.
Darlene
too. So something's in the water. Something's happening right now. Just absolute craziness. But we got to tighten it up defensively as a team for the Oilers, though. Maybe the goaltending's regressing a little bit. They got hot there, whether it was the adrenaline of a new team, a new call up for Ingram, or what was it? The team just playing a little bit better for a nice stretch there, but it's falling apart again. We're regressing. Got to figure it out. Like that, we've found a way to pull out the last 2 wins. Hopefully, that Washington game gave us a little bit of momentum that we can carry forward for the rest of the homestand at the very least, and hopefully, we can win our third straight tomorrow night.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. I'm really excited to see Celebrini and Sid, or sorry, Celebrini and Connor go head to head.
Yeah, speaking of some young guys though, on the Ducks, I was really impressed with Beckett Seneca. He was a lot of fun to watch. Like, I saw like a mix of Getzlaf and Perry. Like, he plays the wings, but he's got the length that Perry has. Doesn't have the worm-like stuff that Perry has, but he's got his length, and he's got the hands and vision of Getzlaf. So that's an intriguing player the Ducks have there. Really exciting for them. Not that I want to glaze the opposition here too much, but he was enjoyable to watch.
I do want to get my notes because there's something I want to touch on. So I'm going to ask you guys a question, get your answers. I probably won't hear it. So try to talk until I get back. But I was kind of curious a little bit as that game went on against the Ducks, how the matchups were going. And, there's an assistant coach on that team that knows the Edmonton Oilers pretty darn well, knows their weaknesses, knows how to push their boundaries, knows nothing about accountability. Sorry, that's a shot. And then there's Coach Q. Maybe one of the best that's ever done it. and I think the work ethic and the motor that team has is a reflection of Quenneville teams. In fact, I'm really curious to hear your answers, but I'm going to do this. So, why don't you guys each talk about how you think the coaching of Anaheim affected, the play and the decision and the way that when it gets the Oilers?
Well, I think like Quenneville's been in this similar situation when he inherited the Hawks. They were a young up and coming team with a couple of key core players, and just kind of built that a system and a work ethic, instilled a work ethic in these guys, and just honed them into being leaders on and off the ice and how to be winners. And you see kind of the fingerprints all over the Ducks lineup right now. I mean, you're right, Lotsy. Seneca, that was I've seen a couple Ducks games this year. He's always been pretty solid, but that was above and beyond that game. Like, he was the most dominant Duck out there, hands down. But I like the way the whole team plays. They seem very structured and disciplined. I'm a big fan of Dostal and Net too. Altogether, they don't have a lot of glaring weaknesses besides just being young and making the occasional youth mistake still. Woodcroft, yeah, he knows the Oilers well, but these are not the Oilers that he coached. He knows the core of the team well, but the team plays differently now. I'm not sure there's too much he could have given the Ducks in regards to pointing out weaknesses for the Oilers that not all the other coaches probably know already as well, just by watching the team. They've just changed that much already.
Great points. So that's the most brilliant thing I've ever heard.
Brilliant. No, the Ducks, you really notice their speed, and that comes from their youth, but they are pretty well detailed as well. Like, they're giving the Oilers fits in the first period. And the other thing we got to remember is that they're down Leo Carlson and Mason McTavish right now too.
Yeah.
That wasn't even the full version of the Ducks that we saw. So they're even that much more dangerous when they're at full health. So I don't think they have the horses to match up with Connor and Leon right now, but their speed can catch us off guard at times and make us pay on certain occasions. And so that's the type of young, fast team that seems to give the Oilers fits in the regular season usually. So, I mean, if it ends up being a playoff matchup, I'd still take the Oilers, but I would probably say 6 or 7 rather than 4 or 5.
Yeah, there's not a Coach Q team bowing out, in 4 or 5, I don't think. That said, I would I would be very interested and intrigued to hear the pungence of all of the major media picking the Oilers to bow out in the first round because they think Anaheim's work ethic, and guarantee you that would be one of the biggest upset predicted. All right. Well, I'm going to assume that all that was brilliant. I will kind of dig into what I was doing. I starting to feel that there's a trend. And then when I started kind of hearing, I don't know if you guys were into listening to any of the EST stuff today, but Dusty on 2 different shows, in the morning show as well as on the oil stream, started spitting out Skinner versus Jari stats in Edmonton, Skinner versus Jari stats in Pittsburgh, how Ingram stats mix into that. I've done a little bit deeper and gone into some fancy stats to kind of justify a few things and break down what they were talking about on a few things that, with all due respect, I think they kind of missed out on. Those stats made me kind of go back and look. Like, it hasn't been pretty, right? It's been 15 goals in the last 3 games. What is it? I guess the shutout 5 games ago, but 17 in the last 4. They've scored 20 in the last 5. In the last 3, they've been outscored 15-14, but still we're 2-1, 1-1-1, however that works. So, Bob, you're going to know all about this. You know what? Let me set it up this way. Bob, if you don't trust your backdoor defenseman to cover his man properly, what are you most likely going to do?
Cheat. But you have to program yourself into, regardless of who the D-man is, and whether you trust the guy or not, you have to program yourself to trust that D-man, regardless of who he is. You have to play your role. Your instinct is to cheat, absolutely, but you have to stay disciplined.
Yeah, bingo. Thank you. Thank you. I'm coming back. I'm coming right back to you. Okay. Pittsburgh, goal one. Mantha backdoor. Not much. I don't know. It was it's a good goal. Bouchard was covering the back door there. That was Bouchard Ekholm pairing. Pittsburgh goal number 2, Mantha breakaway. Bouchard and Ekholm on the ice again. Pittsburgh goal 3, Crosby deflection. We had Nurse and Emberson on the ice. Emberson was backdoor. Not that it really mattered because it didn't get there because Crosby deflected it first. Wallman picks up a goal. Ricard Raquel, the Oiler killer. A short side goal. On the ice, number 24, Stastny. Backdoor coverage, 96. Tell me if you think a pattern's going to start to develop. Pittsburgh goal 5, Malkin. Again, Bouchard and Ekholm on the ice. Not really their fault. That was the one McDavid coughed up right before the blue line. Malkin made him pay. Pittsburgh goal number 6, Novak. Short side. Who's on the ice? Bouchard, Wallman. Now, Wallman wasn't covering the back door, or he wasn't, there to give the goalie fear that he might not cover him because he missed his entire assignment completely when he went for that big jumping hit. If you'll remember that.
Yep.
So I would say short side goal, 96, missed assignment on the back door. That's 2 in that game. All right. Savoy gets one. Nice shot. 2 in 2 games for him. Great. Okay. Washington goal number 1, rebound by Protas. First shot, Nurse is on his knees. Surprise, surprise. Goal 2, short side. It's a 2-on-1. That's when Savoy blew a wheel there. Wallman was on the back door. Goal 3, short side. Stastny's on one knee. Wallman's coverage weak, with Carlson and Frank both coming to the net, and I don't think he knew who to take. Another short side goal with Wallman on the back door. Bouchard gets one. Actually gets 3. Natural hat trick. I loved how Hyman was a big part of first 2 goals. Absolutely. Those screens, the coverage in front of the net, going to the net was every reason Bouchard got both of those. And then Ekholm did it for him on the third one. Kind of got high-sticked and, made a little commotion there. And I think that was enough distraction for him to get his natty hattie. All right, Strome gets one on the Wilson screen. Good for them. Looked just like the Oilers' goals where they're going to the net. Nothing to say there. 97 gets one. I noted another Hyman distraction. The 5th goal for Washington. McMichael rebound in traffic. Nurse is on his knees again. Guess who's at the back door? Wallman. 18 gets one in the paint. 2 games where, and that one especially, where, Hyman didn't get enough credit, I don't think, versus Washington because there were so many other things done. But my God, he had every bit to do with almost every single one of those goals. Overtime winner, 97 breakaway. That pass from Bouchard was pretty icing on the cake to do it while he's falling, to get his 6th point of the game and assist on the game winner. Well done. Now I'm really starting to watch for this trend. Anaheim, goal 1, short side, Granlund. 2 and 14 on the ice, 14 on the back door. That said, really, really, really nice shot by Granlund. Hyman gets one, back door, tap in from 93. Let me just say again, Hyman going to the net. My God, it's so good for this team. Anaheim goal 2, Killorn. 2 and 14 on the ice again. So they're that pairs on for the first 2 goals. There's 3
Both
Oilers
behind the net.
Yeah, 3 Oilers behind the net. That's exactly right. What do we get? Stastny gets one with the own goal by Zellweger. Ekholm behind the back pass on the give and go. What a beauty.
That's ridiculous.
Nurse, he goes short side. Typical Nursey, hey? Like steps in over the blue line, ton of speed, lets that wrister go. He scored like that so many times. Then 14 right back. How many times has Ekholm done that? Stepped in, gone top cheese. Like those 2 guys, that was like if Draisaitl has his office, that was Nurse's office, if he deserves one. and Ekholm's office if he deserves one. Those are like so very typical goals. All right.
Yeah, they're patented moves.
No doubt about it. Anaheim goal 3, short side. Another goal there. 25's on the ice. That's Nursey with Stastny on that one. Stastny's on the back door. Goal 4. Nurse is on his knee again. There's another trend. Wallman on the back door again. There's another trend. 97 gets the empty netter. 14 gets the empty netter. 15 goals in 3 games. All right. 7 goals with 96 sitting on the back door. 7 out of 15. Guess what else was 7 out of 15? Short side. 4 goals with an Oiler on a knee. 3 times Nurse, 1 time Stastny. 8 goals out of the 15 had different D partners out on the ice together. Bush and Ekholm were out there for 5 of the 15. Nurse and Wallman were out there for 2 of the 15. And the remaining 8 all had different combinations of D partners, which told me guys were stuck on changes, guys weren't getting off the ice, guys couldn't, or they were mixing the blender and mixing D partners up a little bit. So, and of course, there's different penalty killers versus whatever. So that's my big analysis. I obviously see a trend. I'm sure you guys heard a trend there. Coming right back to you, Bob.
Well, I do find that Wallman has been battling some consistency this year so far, and I'm not sure if injuries have been a factor in that or what have you, or the fact that he gets, one of the more bottom rung D-men as a pairing, for the majority of the game. I guarantee you, with that trend, which was, by the way, a fascinating study, Dash. I guarantee you that Wallman knows that better than anybody, that that's what's going on. And that's something he'll be concentrating on to make sure he solidifies. Having said that, I believe you said all 7 times the shot went backdoor, so it was never, or the shot went short side, so it was never the backdoor guy that scored the goal. So that's telling me that Wallman actually has his guy. That might be his partner who's allowing the other guy to walk in or giving him too much space, or he got burned, or what have you. And having said that, Spencer Stastny is usually his partner, and I have to say I like Stastny, but to me, he has been struggling here probably these last, 12 games or so.
10 for sure. Yeah.
I find he gets lost a couple times out there, and for a guy who's as good a skater as he is, he seems to be caught flat-footed a lot. He's gotten burned a few times. He just seems a little lost still from time to time. I think that pairing, I think that might be more of the problem area than Wallman's role.
Yep, fair enough. What do you think? Do you think that there is correlation or merit to what I am saying in the fact that a goalie may trust certain defensemen more than others, and when a goalie knows that Wallman's there, that he might be cheating?
There is merit to what you're saying, but I don't think it's specific to Wallman here, because the fact that, like you pointed out, all 7 times there was never Wallman's guy. It was the shooter. So if it was a trend, you'd think after the 4th time you're not cheating at this point, because like, hey, my guy's got that guy, right? So if he was cheating, he'd be like, he would have learned by then not to, I feel. And again, these guys are professionals, so if you're going to cheat, you're only going to let that happen maybe 2-3 times max before you're like, okay, I have my role, which is to take the shooter. I have to trust my D-man. You're in the NHL. You gotta trust your teammates. So any instinct there was to cheat, I think probably goes away by about the 2nd or 3rd attempt, and now his focus on the shooter. So he's partly to blame for not covering the short side, but again, I still think it's the other D-man there that's allowing too much space, too much room to get a grade A off.
VP of editing, lead writer, Ryan Lotsberg, sitting below the 2 of us in this triangle tonight. What do you see, bud?
The foundation.
So if I'm understanding your hypothesis correctly,
you're carrying us on your shoulders.
Just heavy load.
Yucky.
But if I'm understanding your hypothesis correctly, you're saying that the goaltenders are cheating to the far side, leaving the short side open because, more specifically, Wallman, more often than not, has failed on backside coverages. So, like, if that was the case on the 7 out of the 15 you mentioned, that would have been a trend long before those 7 out of 15 started. So, like, I don't have the tape on all that. Maybe you're right, maybe you're wrong. I don't know. But if I'm analyzing those goals from the last 3 games, the 3 early goals in the Pittsburgh game were off the rush. So it wasn't like there was a backdoor defender to be had on those situations.
Yeah. Let
Uh,
me just interject and reiterate one thing. I'm not
yeah,
saying these were Wallman's fault. Like, to
yeah,
Bob's point, the shooter may have been given too much space. I'm just saying there is a pattern on 7 of those goals where 7 of them went short side and 7 of them Wallman was standing on the other side of the crease. So again, not the one time, yep, he went jumping and tried to hit and was out of position. The other time he couldn't make the decision between Carlson and Frank. But I'm not saying he was out of position the other 5. I'm just saying the trend. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah. No, it's all good. And that one you're talking about with Frank and Carlson there on the back door, was that a power play goal against, or like were the Oilers on the PK on that one?
I don't think so.
I don't
Maybe.
know, but I do know for sure that all 3 of Granlund's goals in the Ducks game were on the power play.
Yeah.
Right. So those ones, like, if it was a situation where Wallman is in the right position and he's not tying up sticks or he's just lost in D zone coverage, then I'm more inclined to agree with you. Like those 3 on Granlund, 2 of them were perfect shots and the other deflected off of Darnell Nurse's boot. So like I'm giving credit to the shooter on that one. Like those are incredible shots by Granlund, and same with
Yeah.
the Igor Chinikov shot in the
Yeah.
Pittsburgh game. Like he had a spot about the width of a puck to put that in, and he hit the spot. Right.
If that. Yeah.
So maybe that's the scouting report on both Jari and Ingram is to go short side. I don't know, but a lot of these are odd man rushes and plays where we got Royal Roaded on the power play. So I'm not stressing about this too much, but we got to clean up the odd man rushes coming back the other way again. That's usually what goes wrong when we're not playing well, right? We're giving up too many odd man rushes the other way, and the PK is not helping us out. Case in point, the last 3 games.
Yeah, just a team that's constantly forever trying to outscore its mistakes, right? Anyways, I thought that was a fun little analysis. It's certainly something that I'm going to continue to keep my eye on. And just to shoot my theory down to myself, if I was going to, like, 3 of those were first, second, and third goal by Ingram got pulled against Washington, right?
Ingram,
Yeah, Washington.
that makes sense. Yeah.
So first 3 goals right off the hop, he gets pulled, and all of those were Wallman backdoors, and then the other 4 were with Jari. So, I can't say one guy doesn't trust him. It just kind of seems to be something that, anyways. All right. So all of that's done. In the standings, Edmonton's second in the Pacific right now at 27, 19, and 8. That's 62 points. Vegas is right there at 63. Both of these teams' goaltendings is a disaster, in my opinion. We're going to talk about goaltending in the second half of the show, as well as the San Jose game that's coming up. But really, right now, this entire division is a 1-point barn fight. It's pretty crazy. So let's kind of talk about what's going on off the ice. We've heard rumors, maybe McMahon. We've seen Henrique go on the LTIR, Jari and Wallman activated over the last little bit. There's chatter warming up with other teams being tossed around for the trade deadline, who might be on the shopping list. So I guess let's just again go around the horn, Bob. Like anything call ups of Spansky and Phil back on waivers today. Anyways, just what are your thoughts on all of that? What's going off the ice? Where do you think the Oilers are heading?
Well, this is an exciting time of the year because you're going to have all these rumors ramp up as we're coming up to the stretch. There's lots of speculation going to be happening before the Olympic break. I don't think we'll see too many moves until after the Olympic break. But having said that, that gives us a lot of time for all these rumors, sparks to fan the flames, and which makes for great discussion, great speculation, and great fantasies. Um, I I do think I think we're okay in our top six. I think we're pretty solid up there. Um, Even if a guy like Podkolzin doesn't have the numbers for it, he definitely plays the right way to be up there, and he creates space for the other guys to get top six numbers. And his will come. I mean, he's already finding ways to score here and there to contribute. Um, I do think if we it'll be a bottom six guy. Uh, everybody's always talking about that third line center, so that's definitely something to keep an eye on. If we do make a movement there, that's where a guy like Bobby McMahon probably fits. Somewhere down the bottom six on an Oiler team. If he were to come this way, he'd solidify things down there a little bit. And he's got some secondary scoring as well. And again, I still think we're in the market for a number 6 D man. Somebody just plays a bit more consistent and just solidifies back there and is not. I do think Stassi right now is kind of a pretty weak link on our back end. I don't think Regula is a big improvement on that. I think we need something a bit more proven and a bit more ready to take on the role, especially for a stretch run.
Yep. Lotsy?
Yeah, it's hard to say exactly what's going to happen here. There's a lot of smoke around the Oilers looking at a bottom six guy. Elliot Friedman seems to think it's going to be someone that is going to be fully accepting of that third, fourth line role, like doesn't have top six expectations like a guy like Mangiapane has. So I wouldn't be shocked to see that happen. I still have this feeling that Mangiapane is going to be on the way out, if anything is going to happen, because we got to remember that we're still in LTIR and we still need to shed $2 million approximately before Rico comes back. And that's just to become cap compliant. That's never mind trying to add anything. Right, so that's going to be Szymanski going down eventually, and that's going to be a goaltender going out the door eventually. We think it's going to be Pickard, right? So but those two guys alone aren't going to get it done, right? Once you come off LTIR, then Szymanski's performance bonus and penalties, so to speak, doesn't count anymore. So like we're only at 1.8 something million dollars. That's not enough to get the Oilers to be cap compliant. So something else has to go if they want to add anything. And I still think Mangiapane is going to be that guy. So that's kind of your cap of how much you can really add. Bobby McMahon out of Toronto, what is he at? I've got the Leafs Puckpedia page up here. But I think 1.35, very reasonable cap hit. UFA next year. So, I mean, he is a good player for the Leafs. He's at 29 points in 52 games this year. Tons of speed, plays in straight lines. Like, he's a good player. I don't know why the Leafs want to give up on him, but unless they don't think they can get a deal done with him next year, or if his contract ask is too high, I don't know. But that's intriguing to me.
26 maybe, Bob? How old is he, Ryan?
29.
Oh, he's over there.
That's kind of right in the age that the Oilers are kind of looking at for guys like guys that can help you now and could contribute for a few more years.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to see an Everly come back.
Well, I'd love that too.
I think it's the type of player we could probably mix in, right?
I mean, if the guys want to be creative and do cap retention and you want to ship a Janmark or somebody like that out and along with Mangiapane to get it done, and then you could potentially add a top six guy. And I don't mind that because I think we have a lot of middle six guys, right? Like we've got obviously Connor, Leon, Nuge, Hyman that are impact top six players. There's an argument to be made. Nuge is a great fit at 3C for this team if we give him the right wingers, right? If we give him support on the third line, which we might be in a position to do at this stage, especially if we're adding another winger. It'd be nice to. At the end of the day, what we got to do is get a third line that can produce, whether that's through the addition of a top six guy that pushes Nuge down, or if it's through getting a third line center like a Boone Jenner or a Charlie Coyle out of Columbus, then that's kind of the hole that needs to be filled on this team. Having said all that, I know, Dash, you kind of feel the same way. I'm not going to be horribly upset if they just stand pat and wait for the summer, because they're going to have cap
100%.
space to play with at that time. They won't have to subtract to add like they will now.
Look, this team's problem has been, well, it's been a lot of. I mean, this team's problem is they try to outscore their mistakes. That's this team's problem. It's this team's culture. They, in order to do so, have a couple of superstars we've all watched and loved and heard of. They've carried it. You mentioned a couple other guys, Hyman, Nuge. You know, they're on the level. Man, for the fourth or fifth straight year, we're talking about not having enough depth in the bottom six and trying to
Fourth
get
or fifth
somebody
year?
to. Well,
Try
sure.
the
I mean,
17th.
within cup contention, you're right, Lotsy.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. But like, I mean, we want to win. They want to win a cup. In order to do that, they need that depth. They failed on Skinner. They failed on Arvidsson. They failed on Frederick. They failed on Mangiapane. Like, what's going on with the pro scouting staff when it comes to trying to find the right fits has not been good. Superstars score goals, but good habits prevent them. I had a coach tell me once, and with that comes this team exactly. Whether I think it becomes a flow chart when the trade deadline comes, and yes, my stance is they do nothing and give the youth a chance, give Howard a chance, give Savoy a chance, depending on which one of these other guys might fit the role. Lazar hasn't had a big playoff run or experience. Let's give some of those defensemen like Emberson and Wallman that don't have a ton of reps in the playoffs. Let's see what Roslovic can do in the playoffs before we start offering up extensions, which I'll get into here too. I don't think the rumors are just noise. Like, they line up with what the roster shows you. Like they're being linked to the idea of adding a middle forward. And I think it's a flowchart. Like, I think if they can get a third line center that they're confident with, that they can throw out there with Roslovic and somebody and be okay with that, then Nuge can stay up top, I think. Because Lazar's perfect in that fourth role. I don't, that fourth line center's, that's cement for me. I think Lazar's earned it, and he's the exact type of player you want. He's always smiling. He's in a good mood. He knows his role and he plays it well. If that center isn't available and we can't keep Nuge on the first line, well, then maybe that winger's available, right? If it's Eberle, well, maybe Eberle and Nuge can reunite something on the third line, and that frees somebody else up to go and play with Connor McDavid. I don't know. But I think that's probably the direction they're going, in a way that they can do it affordably. And I think they also need, 6 spot D or another 5D or something like that, because I don't think we can go long without Regula as a 7. So that covers all of that. There's been rumors bubbling that Bob Stauffer kind of threw a match on the fire of, if you will. And we all know he's connected to the team. We all know he sits on the plane. We all know that he has a pretty good idea what's going on with management. A lot of times he speaks in code sometimes, but he said it pretty clearly. The Oilers are thinking about extending Roslovic $4 million at 4 years. And I have not yet heard one single person since then agree with that type of move for the Oilers to make. I'll tell you, I sure don't. I've read enough on Kevin McCurdy on X to know that he doesn't. I think based on this player's reputation, how he's been benched in the playoffs before, how he's been known for being streaky. Oh, by the way, he's really cold right now. And has been asked to drive a third line. Now, maybe there's a conspiracy to that. Keep him on the third line, no points, keep him cheap. I don't know. I don't agree with it. I think we got to see what this guy does in the playoffs before we have another mid-6 player get another long-term. And let's be honest, there's going to be a no movement on there because Oilers be Oilers. Thoughts on Roslovic in particular, Bob?
Yeah, I'm 100% on board with the fact that we need to see what this guy does when it's crunch time in the playoffs. And having said that, if we have another good playoff run, a Roslovic's type of guy who might want to, consider signing for something reasonable, I suppose, to get a chance to win. But I like Roslovic, and you're absolutely right when it comes to streaky. He is cold right now. They are asking him to drive the third line, and I don't think he really has that in him, especially not yet. And maybe it's because the guys he's with are a bit raw and what have you, and he's got to carry them a bit, and there's going to be a learning curve. But it's also an opportunity for him to show that he can do it. So hopefully he finds those wheels and able to push his line mates and do some damage. I think he has the potential to be a $4 million player. I don't think he's there yet. It's too early to start throwing that kind of money that way. Yeah, 100%. Let's see what he does in the playoffs. Let's see what he does on the stretch here. Let's see what he does when it's crunch time, when the chips are all in, and then we can evaluate.
I don't like to agree with you that often or put you on a pedestal, but the smartest thing you said there was that he could be a $4 million player, Bob. Do you not think that's his top end? Like, why are we just going to throw it his top end? Like, if he scores 25 and gets another 15 points in the playoffs or, whatever, 7 points in 7 games or whatever, maybe he's a $4 million player. I don't think he's going to go and get 7 all of a sudden. No, I understand the cap's going up, and I understand the definition of a $4 million player is changing. But that's kind of his peak, isn't it?
Well, right now it is. I mean, well, how old is he now? Is he 30 yet?
He turns 29 tomorrow.
Okay, 29 tomorrow. Yeah. So if there's a higher side to him, it better come sooner than later.
Well put. I mean, whatever, Bob. Ryan?
$4 million for a guy that can put up about a half a point a game and play and complement your top 6 players well and play on your third line if need be. I don't think that's outrageous, to be honest. Now, I'm going to fully agree with you in saying we should not do anything in that situation until we've seen him play in the playoffs. Like, there's no point in signing the guy right now. Like, I have PTSD from the Mikko Koskinen signing in January before, and then we trade Talbot at the trade deadline, and then Shirley got fired like 2 days after that signing got made. Like that was a mess. And like, I'm not saying it would turn out like that if we signed Roslovic right now, but there's no point in doing it right now when you have time. If you have time, use it. So you might as well take the time, see what the guy's going to give you over the rest of the season. Yeah, he was hot before he got injured, but then he got injured, and his deployment has totally changed since the injury. So yeah, of course he's not going to be as hot as he was when he was playing on Connor's wing or on Leon's wing. It's just not how that works. But I still see if there's an opening. Like if Nugent's up on the third line, then I could see Roslovic being the guy to slide onto that top line with Hyman and McDavid. That was going really well before the injury. And yeah, Roslovic and Dry were leaking chances against, but they're prolific offensively. They can outscore their mistakes. Yes, right? It fits with the core of the team, so says Dash, right? But no, you're definitely right. We need to see what happens in the playoffs, but I don't think a 4x4 is outrageous. I'll say that much. Like I'm not going to cry about it if that's what ends up happening.
Based on timing, if it happened this week, you wouldn't cry about it?
I would have questions, but I wouldn't be upset about those terms.
Okay. All right. Well, that's that. Last touch, Noah Philp hit waivers again. From what I understand, I'm sure the Oilers are interested. They have an opportunity to claim him, and if they are the only person or the only team to put in a claim, then they can send him down to Bakersfield. I believe if there is another team that puts in a claim, then they might have to keep him for 30 days. If anybody knows better, please correct me. You think we will be claiming Noah Philp?
Didn't he clear?
I don't know that we need.
Did he? Oh, I missed that then. I was at my kids' hockey.
No. He didn't. He was put on waivers today. Friedman's tweet was a little confusing. As he was saying he quote treated his tweet from yesterday, saying all from yesterday cleared, and then today Philp was on waivers.
Gotcha.
But we'll have to get someone to confirm this. I think that I don't know that he'd have to stay on for 30 days, Dash. I just think that if we wanted to send him to Baco, he would have to clear again if another team has a claim on him. But if no other team has the claim, then we could send him straight to Baco.
And then I think I heard that if he's on the roster for 30 days, then we can send him down without having to put him on waivers. Something
I think
like
if
that.
he's on, I think he's on the if he's on the roster for 30 days, then he has to go through waivers again to get sent down. That's usually how that works. Like if you call a guy
Maybe,
up,
yes, I'm saying it wrong. That's right. Yeah.
yeah.
Sorry.
Yes. So yeah, it all depends on if that someone else puts a claim in on him or not. But right now, as of today, the Oilers have, drum roll please, $425,000 in cap space. Noah Philp, I believe, is $775. So that math doesn't add up. So they could do it by sending Szymanski back down, but I don't think they want to do that because they want to get a look at him and give him some games before the Olympic break here, right? Yep. So I don't know. You're taking a risk on whether another team's going to put a claim in on him or not.
Right.
And I genuinely don't think that Bowman wants him, right? If Bowman wanted Philp, he wouldn't have gone out and signed Tomashek and Lazar, both right-handed centers that he expected to play ahead of Philp on the depth chart. And we saw it play out. He was willing to say goodbye to Tomashek, and he was willing to waive Philp when it came down to it. And Lazar's outperformed both of them.
Yeah. Well said.
Yeah.
Yep. Fair enough. All right. We're pretty much at the halfway mark by fluke. That's pretty good timing on our part, gentlemen. Bunch of pros here. Nothing but pros. Take a sip of your coffee, Bob. Take a break there, Rye. We are going to do a little reset. This is the Heavy Hockey Podcast, episode 9. I am Dash, otherwise known as Dash in the Park, otherwise known as the heel of this podcast that constantly interrupts and annoys people. If you don't like it, too bad. But I got these two beauties with me, and they're pretty fun to listen to. Bob the Goalie at Bob the Goalie, Ryan Lotsberg at Lots Ryan. We are live on EST, the clear choice for Edmonton sports. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to take a small, chunk of your ear here and talk about something that's very near and dear to our hearts. Coming up once again, I believe it is our 8th installment of the Heavy Hockey Showdown. As we are on the Friends of EST program, and as we do this show on EST, we will also be playing against Team Edmonton Sports Talk at the Heavy Hockey Showdown. Bob has played for a lot of years, Team Heavy Hockey, Lotsy the same. He's usually playing when he's not getting suspended. We've got a split in the last few years, so we got a little rubber match coming up this time, March 14th. DCA, Downtown Community Arena, 1 o'clock till 4 o'clock. I don't know. There'll be lots of stuff going on. You'll probably want to stay later than that. We will have some live on locations. I think Belzy and Tommy will be doing Hello Hockey from the game right beforehand. And then we also have the pre and post game the night before, which will coincide with our watch party on the 13th. I forget who the Oilers are playing.
St. Louis.
That's what I remembered. Thank you. Road game, obviously, and I believe we are 99.999% sure that a venue's locked in, and looks like our pregame party this year will be a giant private room at the Canadian Ice House. Absolutely fantastic place to watch a hockey game, to hold a silent auction, and to raise a bunch of money for the Sexual Assault Center of Edmonton, which we're all very proud of. Ryan, you have been absolute monster this year on the committee. No one will ever know what you are doing and how well you are putting all this together for us. You are our glue guy. There's no doubt about it. Thank you. What are your thoughts first year on the committee and trying to put it through, and what are you looking forward to most? Or what did I miss? Fill in the blanks, glue guy.
Yeah, we got lots of cool things coming up for it. Yeah, happy with the venue choice. It's going to be a great time at the Ice House, and it's been a really fun thing to be a part of for me. Like, I wanted to take more of an active role in it this year, and that's something I'm proud to do. Um, but yeah, well, we can announce a couple things. We have a few sponsors that we need to thank. First of all, as always, Turtle Island Technologies is always a big sponsor for us, so that we're happy to give them a shout out here. And Flirt Cupcakes as well. They're a longtime supporter of the event, and
Michelle.
thanks to Michelle at Flirt Cupcakes, we'll be playing in the game again as well. So I'm excited for that.
With her better
And
half,
we have
Brad.
with her better half, Brad, absolutely. And we have a new sponsor this year, the Sherwood Park Counseling Center. We're excited to have the Sherwood Park Counseling Center on board as a new sponsor as well. And big shout out to Willie Skinner, who has been absolutely crushing getting some donations for our silent auction. She's got all the ins all over the city, and people are coming through in a big way. So we'll have lots of great items going on in the silent auction, which is going to launch on February 13th. I want to take a second and just kind of list out some companies who've been who were generous enough to donate some items for us. So we've got Kaplansky's
Shout out to
Delicatessen.
Jacqueline as well, who's Heavy Hockey's stand-in mom, and also doing a fantastic job with that silent auction stuff that Ryan is about to tell you all about.
Yeah, absolutely. So yes, wow, I can't even talk. Kaplansky's Delicatessen. We've got Dark Side of the Grill. We've got Woodshed Restaurant, and that's Paul Schufelt there hooking us up with a really cool experience at Woodshed that people can bid on. We've got Heart and Dagger Tattoo, a nice gift certificate from that tattoo shop. We got Cranky Jimmy's Spice Company, some samples of spices for people to buy. We've got something really exciting from United Cycle that we'll tweet about in the coming days, but people are going to love getting their eyes on this special piece that we've got from United Cycle. We've got the Edmonton Riverhawks who gave us some ticket vouchers. Same with the Edmonton Stingers. Lingnan Restaurant, who's given us an experience for a meal for four that people can bid on. The Italian Center has hooked us up with a nice gift basket. And we've got a ton of art from Jay's painting, from Giselle's general visual art, from Laurie Frank as well. Slavocek has given us a fantastic sculpture. So like, there's going to be a lot of amazing pieces in the silent auction. So bidding is going to open February 13th, and it's going to close on March 13th during the watch party at the Ice House. So yeah, we're really excited about all that.
Bob, other than being so slow, we'd have to water you twice a week. What are you excited about?
Wow. Okay. All right. We're doing that, are we?
We
Yeah,
can sit in the penalty
absolutely.
box a lot. Let's be honest.
Yeah, that's biased reffing. We all know that. The very, very exciting. It is always one of the highlights of my winter playing this worthwhile cause, and to have the Sexual Assault Center of Edmonton, the ladies always come out there and give a bit of a speech about how how important this fundraiser is for them. It is their number one fundraiser of the year. Is our showdown here, and it's always a very a moving speech, very right from the heart, and it really hits home the impact that we have just by putting this together. And that's the real reason. Yeah, it's good to pop back a few beers and play some hockey and have some laughs, but the cause is like you really can't describe it, how important this cause is and the work they do. I know somebody personally who has used this service, and she claims they basically saved her life. So I've seen it happen firsthand where this organization has helped somebody, and so that makes it that much more personal for me, and just realizing how important they are. Yeah, I want to second Lotsy. Just great job, man. I see you all over, your name pop up everywhere for the work you're doing here on this committee and round stuff up. And yeah, big shout out to Willie Skinner. My goodness, her name is everywhere. I cannot log on to Twitter without seeing Willie pop up with something, working on something to get something together here. So We just have excellent people involved in this. Please come out if you can. Support us. Check out that silent auction. It'll be on heavyhockey.network.com. And cannot wait for March.
You got her. Yeah. Lauren, Lori, Patrick. Just great job, everybody, this year. I think we're building something really special. Last thoughts on that. Looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a great time, you guys. It's Heavy Hockey's opportunity to use our little platform to try to do whatever we can to try to reverse this crap culture that hockey has attached to it. Sexual abuse is prevalent in the sport that we love. And the biggest thing that we can do is try to help victims. Bob nailed it. This is our biggest event of the year. They count on us. We can significantly cut wait times. And as Bob's mentioned, that might save lives. And there's nothing more important than that. That said, beautiful.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Ryan. Yeah.
Sorry, I missed somebody important in our
please
on
do.
the silent auction list, and that is Wendell in Lamb Chop. She's donated a lot of prints for us. Her doodles are fantastic, and there's some great ones in the pile here that people are going to get a chance to bid on. So yet another great item. It's all going towards an amazing cause, as Dash has pointed out. Sace does tremendous work. So February 13th, we'll send the post out, have a look at everything, bid, get those values up, all for Sace. So let's get it done. That's what I got.
Go find anybody's link. Go donate $5, $10, $1. Everything helps. Everything helps. Okay, transition back to the Oilers. We got a couple things to talk about here still. I think we have to touch on the goaltending, and then I think we need to look forward into the San Jose matchup, or even further if you guys want to, for the last 3 games, the homestand as well, or anything you want to jump into for the Olympics or anything like that. So starting back with the segue, I guess I was trying to create goaltending. All right. So earlier today, I heard Dusty talk about it on the morning show. I heard Tommy talk about it with him on the Oil Stream. This is essentially what they said. All right. So if you've missed it, I'm going to repeat. I don't know. Did you guys hear it? Head shake, nod, yay, nay, no, yeah, no, good. All right. Skinner in Edmonton, 891 with a 2.83. Jari in Edmonton, 884 with a 3.23. Worse. Skinner in Pittsburgh, 906 with a 2.31. Jari in Pittsburgh, 909 with a 2.66. Okay, pretty similar. Ingram in Edmonton, 909 with a 2.4. Okay, some caveats. Jari had a couple games where I think the team gave up on him late, and they had some garbage goals. The opponents had garbage goals that may or may not have really necessarily fallen directly on Jari's responsibility. I see a pattern in that when you play when you play behind Edmonton's team and the Edmonton defensive structure, you end up with a lower save percentage and a higher GAA. So I think, this could lend to the fact that Pittsburgh plays a tighter defensive structure. This could lend to the theory that I've been screaming at the top of my lungs as I drag my soapbox in and out of this podcast week after week, telling you that all goalies are symptomatic. I am almost positive I tweeted about a month before the Jari trade, I cannot wait for the Oilers to trade Skinner so that we could look back at this in January and February and realize that Skinner was not the problem. Now, I don't know if I'm right, but I might be, and I think these stats would say so. That said, the eye test looks to me better with Jari. I think he's more scrappy. I think he keeps us in games. Again, I think some of those stats were, in blowouts and garbage time. So I give him credit. He's 6-2. I think Skinner had about a 600 save percentage. Ingram's about the same. So they're winning more for Jari. even though he has the worst statistics out of all 5 of those situations. Have we fixed the goaltending in Edmonton, Bob?
Well, I'll say this. Okay. Uh, Skinner was not the problem, but Skinner was also not the answer. Jari isn't the problem. We'll see if Jari is the answer. Yeah, his numbers, I saw that right away that his numbers were, not the greatest since he's been over here, but he is winning us games. And I think his style fits the Oilers better. Like his save percentage in high danger scoring chances, like he was one of the best in the NHL. And that is something that the Oilers give up is high danger scoring chances. And that's Skinner. That was one of Skinner's weaknesses. I think Jari's goaltending style fits Edmonton better overall. I do think that also the injury set him back a bit. I also think Skinner had more to gain out of this trade than Jari did. Jari was still getting pretty good, significant playing time in Pittsburgh. He wasn't necessarily the clear number one goalie in Pittsburgh anymore, but he's still getting 1A, 1B kind of stuff going on, right?
Stu's playing for a contract.
And Stu had more to gain, I think. There's so much pressure on Stu in Edmonton, lots of eyes on him. He was getting, shit on left and right from everybody pretty much. Here in Pittsburgh, he gets to start anew. He found new life. I won't say instant league since he's struggled pretty bad the first 2 or 3 games, but after that, he's been Vezina-like almost. Like he's been insane, right?
Literally.
And I'm happy for him. He probably doesn't find that in Edmonton.
He got 940 or something over the last 6 games or something like that.
He probably doesn't find that part of his game in Edmonton if he sticks around here. So happy for Stu. Also happy that's in the Eastern Conference, so we don't have to battle against that all the time. I think Ingram is going to be a huge piece for us, especially the way he keeps going. I think Ingram's game is stayed solid. He's had maybe last game took a step backwards. Obviously, he got pulled. There's one other game where he kind of iffy. Other than that, he's been really, really solid. Actually, the best of all 3 of our goalies right now has been Connor Ingram overall. Jari was here to be the number 1. He will still be the number 1. He will probably be the guy that they play in game number 1 of the playoffs. And I have also full confidence that he'll have his legs under him by then. He'll have found his style. He'll have found his niche. And you'll see his numbers get better. But most importantly, it's the win column.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, shout out to some of our regulars in our version of the nasty chat, the heavy chat, whatever we're calling it. But Rye Guy, Quaddy, Some Stranger, Ace 96. Thanks for tuning in again, guys, and always being a part of our chat. Some Stranger says, how many goals that Jari lets in do you find deflating? So I kind of want you to touch on that, Bob, before we go over to Ryan. But I have a follow-up question for you. I think I know your answer based on what you said, but I kind of want to maybe even connect something for you. So you said that Jari's style fits Edmonton better than Skinner's does, and I can't agree with you anymore. Skinner was a shot blocker, a big body, a more vertical goalie that didn't go side to side well. The Oilers give up a lot of high danger chances. That means the puck is moving side to side. Jari's more athletic. Jari reads the play a little bit better and seems to have better reaction. So I agree. My follow-up question is this: do you think Ingram's style fits the Oilers' system even better than Jari?
Here's the thing with Ingram. I think Ingram's style is suitable for 31 other teams in the AHL as well.
Because he reads the play. He's got a high IQ.
He's an elite player reader. He seems to be always in position.
Well said.
It's very rarely I can count on 2 fingers how many times I've seen him not square to the puck. He just has that kind of style that works well in a structured game. He was fine. He was having difficulties in Bakersfield. That's a huge step still, even though it's only technically 1 step below the NHL. That's a giant step. So you will have more scrambling, more discombobulated plays down the AHL than you would in NHL. His style suits a structured game. It's a bit more predictable for him, and he's come through with flying colors.
Yep. Ryan?
Well, as for the question about how many goals.
Pardon me. Yep.
Yeah.
Thanks.
How many goals Jari's letting have been deflating. Well, obviously, if you go by sample size, there hasn't been as many as when Stuart Skinner was, but you're also, he's played about hundreds of games less than Jarry has so far. There have been a couple, for sure, where I felt like, okay, like 7 whole goals, they bother the shit out of me every time I see them happen. Jarry's had a couple of those. There's been a couple of timing goals where we could have used a big save. That didn't happen. But then he also makes more big saves when we need them than when he lets in when we need them. So overall, he's come through it, and he only has an upward trajectory in his Oilers career right now.
Yeah. Lotsy, let's do this in reverse. Answer the some stranger question first, and then go back into the goalie soliloquy that you'd like to.
Yeah, like I just the one that's coming to mind for me is the second goal in the Jersey game. I think that was a 7-hole goal as well. That one felt a little deflating. That we weren't generating much that game, and we needed that save, and that ended up costing us a game. It's interesting with Jarry. Like, I'm seeing a lot of goals that are making me sigh as soon as they go in. I'm like, oh boy, don't love that one. And people from Pittsburgh, you look at tweets from their fan base, they're saying that they're happy to get rid of Jarry because of those kinds of goals, right? Just like we were happy to get rid of Skinner because a lot of those kinds of goals. But on the other side of the coin, yeah, it's like Bob said, he's making a lot of big saves that might not normally have gotten saved in the previous goaltending regime for the Oilers. Like, I've caught myself saying, well, that would have gone in earlier in the season, right? It's just like, it's that breakdown, that chance that comes the other way. Up until this past weekend, we were getting a lot of those saves, and that it's starting to go the other way again. So it's hard to say. As far as things in general go, though, like I've got natural stat trick up here. High danger chances against per 60 since December 12th, the day of the trade. The Oilers are sitting at 11.8, and exactly 4 spots below them are the Penguins at 11.48. Not a whole hell of a lot of difference in terms of high danger chances against. So, like, the numbers aren't necessarily saying the Penguins are defending better than the Oilers are, not by much. It's just, and maybe it's a stylistic thing. And we got to remember, we're dealing with a small sample size here too, right? Like, Jarry hasn't had that many games yet, and we're talking about a month. So Skinner's had a great month, and he's likely going to have a poor month at some point coming up here soon. Jarry's going into a bit of a rough stretch here. He might suffer for a few more games, but he'll pull out of it again. Right? There's always the ebbs and flows as it goes with any goaltender. So, like, I wrote that the move was pretty lateral when the trade happened, and I stand by that. Like, I don't know that Jarry's that much of an upgrade over Skinner. Maybe at their peak he is, but I don't think we're getting peak Jarry right now, especially as he navigates life with all these injuries over the past couple of years.
Yeah, very well said. Very well said. Look, we got a little debate in the chat, and I think I almost agree with both sides. I think, I don't know, when it comes to whether the team defends better than Pittsburgh or the other way around, I think the stats kind of say what they say. They both give up a lot of chances. I would say, if anything, in watching the two teams, like, maybe Pittsburgh keeps it a little bit more predictable for their goalies. I think when Oilers have blunders, they're big blunders. That said, those stats I read earlier, and I think maybe what I'm about to say probably lends to the argument that that Pittsburgh's defense is relatively similar. So, looking at the piece of work that Jarry has done in Edmonton, the piece of work that Skinner has done in Pittsburgh, and the piece of work that Ingram has done in Edmonton, all three of those goalies in those particular situations ranked in the top 30 in the NHL in wins above replacement and goals saved above expected.
Mm-hmm.
Skinner in Edmonton was not in the top 100, and Jarry in Pittsburgh was not in the top 100. Okay? So breaking that down, I'm sure it's not a coincidence, but I'll go reverse. Ingram is at 29. He's at both 29 in wins above replacement as well as 29th in goals saved above expected. Jari in Edmonton is 25th in wins above replacement and 25th in goals saved above expected. Skinner in Pittsburgh, 14th in the entire NHL during this little piece of work and this sample size in both wins above replacement and goals saved above expected. That says exactly that Skinner in Pittsburgh has played well above his typical play. And I think that team has rallied around that in the last 8 to 10 games. Bob?
Yeah. I mean, it was encouraging as well. We already knew this about Stu, but to hear some of the Penguins players say that how the dressing room atmosphere has even changed since Skinner showed up. Like, there's a lot to be said for atmosphere being relative to how you play on the ice. I mean, if you're in a positive environment, that can translate to some success on the ice. I mean, yeah, it doesn't translate directly to like systems and what have you, but just your overall attitude and jump in your step and wanting to battle for each other and that kind of thing. So that's definitely an intangible that Stu brings, and we all saw that over here as well. That's probably one of the reasons why we kept him longer than maybe we should have. But like, I'll take a step further. Like a week ago, so these numbers are, not counting last week, this last week, but I did touch on the goaltending a little bit on the last week's episode. I broke it down to game by game basis, not overall numbers of goals saved above expected, what have you. So in regards to being having a goal saved above extra or above expected, above zero, Ingram has had that in 78% of his games, where the goal saved above expected was above zero. That was second best in the whole NHL for goalies that had played at least 6 games at that time.
Yeah.
So and then Jari with his if you combine the goals saved above expected and the goals against average, or not goals against, save percentage, of the two goalies on an ice when you face off against each other, you're basically competing against the other goalie. He's been the better goalie 68% of the time. This includes his Pittsburgh numbers as well, though, overall of the season, which was third best in the NHL, top 3, where he was the better of the two goalies on the ice. So the potential for these two guys to be an outstanding tandem is just, we're hovering on the precipice of that potential. So as a combined unit, I think we're in pretty good hands. I will say this: Pickard saved our bacon a few times in the playoffs, 100%. I'm a big Picks fan based on that alone. The Jari Ingram tandem, I think, is already better than the Skinner Pickard tandem, and they got us to a Stanley Cup final for 2 years in a row.
Yeah, that's a great way to drop the mic right there. That's a great way, So I guess they fixed the goaltending. I don't know. Ryan, you didn't get to answer that question specifically, so I'll give you last word on all this goalie crap and let us know whether you think the Oilers' goaltending's fixed while you're doing it.
I think fixed is a strong word. I'd say marginally improved.
They can't be mutually exclusive, or what?
I mean, Bob's right. The mental part of it is huge, and in this particular case, Skinner had more to be relieved about from the trade than Jari did. Like, Jari was welcome to the trade; he was open to it, and this was his preferred destination. So it's not as if Jari is shocked by the deal and is unhappy about the move and is reeling from it. Like, he's okay with it. He knew it was probably coming. So that part of it's not as if Jari is struggling mentally here. It's that Stu has had a weight lifted off his shoulders with what his family was going through, with some of the behavior that came from some fans online here. and just the constant pressure, especially being a local kid. The weight of the team is on your shoulders. Maybe his shoulders aren't as strong as mine carrying you two on this podcast. um, I think Stu has been relieved, and the team at Pittsburgh has been very welcoming towards him, and they're playing well as a group. There's no denying that. And Stu has shown that he's capable of really high level play for stretches. I just think we need more of a sample size on both sides here and in Pittsburgh to really evaluate this deal. But so far, I'd say it's been good for both sides.
Yeah.
Maybe a little better for Pittsburgh, but Ingram, though, I really loved Ingram's play so far. Like I like his style, positionally sound, swallows pucks, and he's made a couple of really acrobatic saves as well. And like his lateral movement isn't a detriment like that was the case against Skinner. And he struggled in the AHL to start the year, and I liked what he said about the AHL being scrambly and the shots being a little more predictable in the NHL, like the play being easier to read. It's faster, but it's easier to read because the players are better defensively as well, right? So that's part of it. He's used to the NHL style of play, and he's had 2 bad starts since he's been here. That's it. Other than that, he's been rock solid. So I'd say Skinner Jari is pretty lateral, but Pittsburgh has the upper hand there right now. That may change. And Ingram has been an upgrade over Pickard. Love Pickard, tons of respect for the guy, but he is the number 3 right now.
Yeah, and I probably respectfully disagree that Pittsburgh's got a better end of this, to be honest, Lotsy. And I think it's just mostly because Jari became the starter, right? Like Skinner's still not even playing as many games as Seeloff's there. And ultimately, good on Skinner. Like I said, 14th and 14th there. So he's in one of those stretches of high level play. If I'm to quote you verbatim there, he's in one. He's on a heater. Can he keep it up? Time will tell. Can Jari keep this up in Edmonton? Time will tell.
I'd be interested to note how Skinner's arrival affected Seeloff's. Like, I wonder how his game has been. Has it improved as well with Skinner there? Like, I haven't done the research to see what his numbers were like before trade and after trade, but it'd be interesting to see how that correlated.
Yeah, I don't know if Ryan could find the split easily or not, but ultimately, I think I did read somewhere that his play has fallen off, and I think what that comes down to, Bob, ultimately is how's that guy motivated, right? It's just like in life or at work or wherever. Some people are motivated by having a fire lit under their ass, and other people are motivated by the pat on the back constantly, right? Is Seelovs? Geez, I struggle with that one. The type of guy that wants to be pushed? Is he the type of guy that needs to be pushed in order to be competitive? Or is he the type of guy that just needs the net and knows that it's his and needs that confidence and Skinner will be there for him? I've
got his game log here. I got his game log here on Hockey Reference. Ever since the trade, he's had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of his first 6 starts after the trade were all sub 900 percentage, so not great. He put up 2 straight. He put up a 920 and a 968 in his next 2 games after that 6-game slide, so that was good. One dip to 880, and then his last start was a 938 in a 6-2 win against Edmonton. So, yeah, struggled for a while, but I think he's starting to pick it up a little bit again in his last 3 of his last 4 starts anyway.
The Penguins probably had some money on the board for that one, let's be honest. All right, let's segue here. We've got about maybe 5 minutes left before we're off of EST, but we're going to keep pushing on for another 10 or 15 probably to be able to wrap up what we want to talk about. So let me maybe put Ryan on the spot to cue my music, because I think I will potentially use Call Me Crazy to get into this San Jose matchup. So Ryan, if you may.
Yeah, I mean, we're calling you crazy a lot tonight.
It might have been half the music, but that's still pretty good. Okay. I have been absolutely mesmerized watching Macklin Celebrini play hockey this year. What a fresh breath of air. What a unique player. Who's going to be better, Bedard or Celebrini? I don't think it's close. And what Celebrini's doing versus, how many points he's getting versus the second place on his team. The way this kid is absolutely tenacious on a puck, hard to play against, big in the corners, plays like he's 25 already, absolutely entering the NHL like very few players have in the history of hockey. We've had a good chance to watch Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid play hockey in Edmonton over the last 7-8 years. We've watched offensive prolificity. We've seen magic. We've seen excitement. We've seen speed. We haven't necessarily seen a lot of defense, and we haven't necessarily seen a lot of good habits. Bob the Goalie, call me crazy, but I think Macklin Celebrini is a better all-around player than Connor McDavid. Look, Connor's 15 out of 10 in speed, 15 out of 10 in excitement. Nobody touches him there. Celebrini doesn't touch him there. But you may call me crazy if you like.
I will call you crazy. Right now, he isn't. McDavid is he's translucent, especially on offense. But you'll see, even just this last year or so, I think his defensive game has been spectacular. He might even get the odd Selke vote thrown his way there this season down towards the bottom kind of thing. His back checking, his breaking up plays, his penalty kill, he's becoming elite on a lot of levels. Now, for a young guy like Celebrini, it is freaking impressive, his all-around game. For as raw as he is, one of my fears I have about Celebrini is he plays a little fearless right now. I am afraid that one of these times when he goes through the middle, he's going to get rocked hard, and we'll see what that does. But having said that, his head is up a lot of time when he comes through that middle. It's he's very aware of his surroundings. I think you nailed it there when you said he plays like he's 25. But this is his first year. There's also this thing called a sophomore slump, so we got to see what happens next season if he can follow this up. But as of right now, I am calling you crazy. Connor McDavid is definitely an all-around better player right now than Macklin Celebrini.
Yep. And we got Ace, some stranger, McDavid, not a ton of high-grade defense. Ace agrees, Dash. He's no Michael Pekka, who is really. And Celebrini isn't either. But yeah, that's a big body. Even if he does get caught, whoever catches him might be surprised, Bob. But I love this kid's 200-foot game, if you'll allow me to use that cliche. Ryan Lotsberg, I know what your answer is already. Call me crazy, but Macklin Celebrini is a better... Look, I'm going to start over. I kind of see it like this, okay? If you use the baseball terminology, the five-tool player. Now, I don't know what the 5 tools of hockey are, but let's just say I would call Macklin Celebrini a 5-tool player in hockey, where he is like 9 out of 10 at everything he does. Whereas McDavid is a 4-tool hockey player that can skate, create offense, and do things absolutely magically and excitingly at a 18 out of 10. But that defense is like maybe a 3 out of 10. You know what I mean? So, we're not looking at an EA Sports ranking here. Like I'm trying to kind of draw it up. That said, I'll start over. Ryan Lotsberg, call me crazy, but I think Macklin Celebrini is a better all-around player than Connor McDavid.
So I think what you're really trying to say is that Celebrini is a better defensive player than McDavid, which I'm going to put an asterisk on this because I haven't got the chance.
It's not just that. He is better in the board battles. He's tenacious in the corners. Connor and Leon let their wingers go and dig pucks out for them and get it to them in open areas. Macklin Celebrini goes and gets it himself.
I'd say that's more true for Leon than it is for Connor. I see Connor, like, I've been watching Connor a little more closely. A trend I've noticed is that he's always moving towards the puck when he doesn't have it in the O zone. He's always going there for support, and he's in the corner. He's mucking it up, and even like you see it in the power play too. He's winning those battles on the boards to keep pucks alive. It's not always Nuge and Heimel. It's McDavid a lot of the time too. Like he's got such good hands, and that helps him in those board battles as well. And McDavid's just had more time to refine the defensive side of his game than Celebrini has had. Like, I'm not trying to knock Celebrini, and I'll admit I have a little bit of ignorance with Celebrini because I haven't seen a ton of them and watched them that closely, but I haven't seen enough to say that you're not crazy. So, yeah, calling you crazy, Dash. I knew you knew I was going to do that. Calling you crazy.
All right, there it is. So there's our segue to the game. It's coming up. I'm really looking forward to it for a lot of reasons. I think, like, not just watching that matchup, and there's always these, when Connor first played Sid, and when there's these, you're playing your heroes sometimes, and I wouldn't doubt that there's a ton of that there with potentially not even Celebrini with McDavid, but Nuge, right? They've known each other for years. They skate together in the off seasons. There's a ton of respect there mutually that goes both ways. So be really interested how Celebrini kind of steps up in that situation, and whether he can, use that motivation to want to impress his heroes to rise above. Um, you know, we know as Oilers fans that the numbers say that we're not generating enough danger at 5-on-5. I don't know if that's a systems issue or if it's a matchup issue or both. But speaking of matchup, San Jose is a perfect test because I think that the Sharks will happily play chaos hockey with us. So that's another reason I'm looking forward to it. I guess your guys' thoughts on the game and how you think they'll do and maybe how the systems match up a little bit. San Jose is fourth in the Pacific, 27, 21, and 3. They got 57 points. They're not dead. They're annoying. Middle of the pack on the power play. Penalty kill sits around the high 70s. I think the biggest thing for them is that they can be leaky defensively, and that's exactly what the Oilers can be. So we'll see how special teams gets involved. I think that'll probably be a big thing. Bob, what about this San Jose Edmonton matchup?
Well, I'm excited, like every fan will be, in regard to seeing McDavid and Celebrini on the ice together and facing off together and what have you. But for me, as a goalie guy, I want to see Askarov. I like Askarov's game. I like how he plays, and he's had a long time coming now to get his shot, and he's been playing good. He is the number one in San Jose. And Nedeljkovic plays a decent number two role there, but Askarov is the guy they're going to build around on the back end, and I hope he's in that. One thing I'm noticing is a lot of teams are playing their number two or their 1B goalie here against Edmonton, and it could be one of two reasons. One, it could be because you have nothing to lose. You're up against a dynamic offensive team. Statistically, let's see what happens. We might be able to rest our starter for another game where we have a quote unquote better chance of winning. Or number two is we have a pretty bad history of playing against the number two or 1B goalie more so than the number one goalie outright. We seem to make a lot of these guys look like Vezina winners. I don't think it's as bad as it used to be.
Wasn't that the old goalie coach's fault, according to you?
You just took it out of my mouth right now. I don't think it's as bad as it used to be. I think with the old goalie coach, his scouting report on number ones was atrocious. This guy, I think we've seen some better success. I think at one point, that's a whole different conversation. So I'm going to skip that. We'll stay focused on the San Jose game. I'm looking forward to the Askarov factor in the San Jose game because I think he's going to have to be huge. The Sharks are a deceivingly good team, and not just for Celebrini. Obviously, he is head and shoulders their best player, but they are deceivingly good. And you are right; they are one of those teams that play a style that could be a pain in the ass for Edmonton. I'm looking forward to the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Lotsy, San Jose, any thoughts?
Did you want to touch on?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, okay, sure. We can do that. rediscovery records. Also, McDavid more than double the third highest scorer on the team his second year and third year. Absolutely impressive by McDavid. I do remember that. I don't discount it.
Mhm.
Celebrini's his second year, right?
Yep.
So same thing. I haven't checked the stats lately. You might have to pull him up, but I believe at one point in time he had 60 some points when Will Smith had 29. So I got more than double second place. And that's not 23 clear on 38. That's 60 some points. So again, I appreciate that comment, but yeah, I think you're not wrong about Connor. And also I think it almost says that much more about what Celebrini is doing right now. But yeah, Lotsy, thoughts on, what you're looking forward to, how you think they match up.
Yeah, I mean, for one thing, to get a better look at Celebrini, like I could watch a little more late night TV, but I'm trying not to watch as much TV lately, so I haven't seen as many of those Sharks games on late. So yeah, getting a chance to actually watch Celebrini and see him do his thing, and that matchup against McDavid, it's gonna be fun to watch. I remember doing a piece earlier in the year about the Knobloch's usage of McDavid and Draisaitl and how he was just riding them constantly. And Celebrini is in that same sort of role in San Jose, except he's doing it alone. He doesn't have a Draisaitl to help him out with some of that ice time. It's going to be fun to watch. I mean, two teams that are constructed similarly in the fact that they're top heavy with an absolute superstar leading the way. And I view the Sharks kind of like the Ducks, just that really young, fast, exciting team with a lot of promise to look forward to in the next few years, but are just not quite there yet. Yeah, it's gonna, and you're right, Bob. It's that kind of matchup that gives the Oilers fits. And I remember Askarov standing on his head one game at Rogers last year.
Yep.
So I do think the Oilers will win their third straight game tomorrow night, but I think it'll be an entertaining one as well.
Lotsy going straight for the prediction. 3
Love
in a
it.
row for the first time. I guess he's thrown his hat in the ring. Bobby, what's your prediction?
Yeah, 10th time's the charm. 10 2-game winning streak. Classic, yeah.
All right.
I'm with
Well,
Lotsy.
for good radio and actually potentially maybe how I feel about this, I'll take San Jose. It's one of those.
Goodness.
Well, look,
Calling you crazy. Calling you crazy.
the Oilers tend to play down to opponents. They tend to take time off versus teams they feel like they can. I believe the styles match up in a very interesting yet maybe potentially chaotic way. Like if you want to talk about keys to the game, we can go around the horn again if you want. But for me, I think it's the Oilers need to, I don't know how to say it, like don't donate transition. Like they need to keep San Jose moving north south and not east west. I think if they're going to start giving San Jose east west chances, then it could be a long night for Edmonton. That said, the Sharks have to do the exact same thing to Edmonton. So how the line matchups and the systems kind of go, it'll be interesting. So as a result, I think the Oilers need to own the middle of the ice. We've got a bigger, older, more mature team. Maybe let's just play like it. We should be able to wear them down. We should be able to play a patient game. We know how to get to the Stanley Cup Finals. We know how to win, when we're managing load. That said, if they don't forecheck like adults, I think that's going to open up for them getting too cute, and in which case, like potentially, I don't know, if the others can't stay patient, then they're going to open up another 6-5 night where they can't just pull off another controlled win. That's really the way I see this going down. I think that they'll probably have good stretches, take them lightly, and end up with a few in the back of the net as a result. And we're looking at another game with 10 goals scored. I don't know. Any other last thoughts, or should we just go around the horn for the end of the show? Any last thoughts on San Jose, or games moving forward, even, or keys to the game, Bob?
I will say this. I think one of the things we got to stop doing, especially with a guy like Celebrini on the ice, is we got to stop giving pucks away like it's candy at Halloween. I mean, that's been the last couple of times been absolutely atrocious. Some of the freebies we're giving away that turn into high danger chances, and then we're asking our goalies to bail us out. Next thing you know, it's 3-0 in 3 minutes of the game. So that kind of thing, that's the number one thing I think we gotta just try to eliminate or definitely suppress a lot more. Other than that, you're dead on that the Oilers tend to play to level their competition. There was a little while ago where in the power rankings I had the Oilers were a top 10 team and they had the worst record of the teams that are in top 10 against tier 3 teams that were ranked 21st or 32nd. I don't think San Jose is a tier 3 team though. I think they're a middle of the pack kind of team that will give the Oilers enough competition, keep them on their toes enough that I think we'll be threatened enough by them that we can pull this win off and be the more mature, experienced team and show the Sharks the next level they got to take to get to our level.
Absolutely. Yeah, I couldn't agree more with Ace in the chat there too. When the Oilers get comfortable, bad habits come back real fast. Very well said. And also I'll note out some stranger, don't let Vinny score. Yeah, what's the over-under on points for Vinny DeHarnay, Bob?
Yeah, I'll just keep my wallet in my pocket on that one.
Take the over and take the under. All right. Ryan, keys to the game, San Jose, last thoughts, games ahead of that if you'd like. How many points is Vinny going to get? And then we'll do final thoughts.
I was happy to see Vinny score against Florida, especially after dumping Kachuk on his rear end in that game. But Vinny's not doing anything. I know the ex-Oilers always come back to haunt us, but not Vinny this time. Really, for the Oilers, it's just impose your veteran will on this young Sharks team. That's really what it boils down to. The Sharks might get ahead. They might get a little bit of a lead. They might make things interesting, but the Oilers need to just stand up, be the older brother, be the father figure in this situation, and just end it. Take care of business, execute, take care of the Sharks, move on to the next one. Like, I don't want to discount the Sharks because what they've done this year is amazing, and Celebrini's an incredible player. But if the Oilers are the team we think they are, and they have been, they'll take care of business tomorrow night. It's a 4-point game in the Pacific Division. It's an important stretch for us. Not only for us being at home, but we're playing some division teams finally. This is a chance for us to kind of move up in the standings and really make some hay here
at home.
And I think the Oilers are aware of that at home. This is game 4 of a stretch of teams where we're playing them on the second night of a back-to-back. So they got to take advantage of that setup, right? So this is a game that the Oilers should win as a veteran contending team. And I fully expect them to.
Yep. Thanks for pointing out as well. Some stranger, Ekholm's injured day to day. Absolutely. I think that Regula will slot into that 6th spot. So we'll see if that affects.
I'm not even certain that that's going to happen. Regula's up on the top pair of that or with Bouchard as
fair.
A placeholder today. It's not like they altered the pairs any. So I think it'll really be a game time decision. I don't know what's going on with Ekholm, but just the way the lines and pairings were rolled out today, I don't think Ekholm's going to miss this game.
What are you, pulling oblique, shooting it from behind the net on a hat trick goal or what? He finished that game, whether he was trying to get the hat trick or not, or
waved to too many people at the fan photo night last night. I don't know.
Maybe slipped on the ice in the driveway. Maybe, who knows, right?
Yeah, I saw him and Nurse right at the end. He seemed fine, but he was also sitting on a stool. So
fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. Okay, let's wrap this up, guys. Great show. Love doing this with you as always. I think we touched on pretty much everything. If you feel like we have not, if there's anything that's still burning on you there and you want to get it off, now's your chance. I don't like Michael's rules, so I'm taking the last word. I'll say goodnight when I'm done, Ryan. We've been going in this order. Let's keep it up. What do you got to say before we wrap this thing up and say goodnight, Bob?
Yeah, great job, Dash. And always a pleasure talking to you, gents, for hockey. Love these Wednesday broadcasts and when we opportunity to do them. Nice to get back in the swing of things here. Second show of 2026. We're off and flying here. Next week will be our heavy hockey a podcast. It'll be our third broadcast of 2026. It'll be 3 winning broadcasts, and that's exactly the Oilers are going to do for 3 wins in a row starting tomorrow. Thanks.
Wow, I see what you did there. Mathing us, Ryan.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in, everybody. As always, it's always a pleasure to do the show and to have you guys on and contributing to the chat. It's awesome to see. You know where to find me at Lots Ryan on Twitter, or X as it's realistically called. I always have articles on the fly. I've been a little slow on that lately. I intend to pick it back up in the next little while here, but yeah, lots of work on the showdown going on. That's kind of taking some focus, which is all good. It's something I'm passionate about and happy to do. And on that note, if you've been following my social media over the last couple of weeks, you'll know that as part of my fundraising for the Heavy Hockey Showdown, I am on a weight loss mission here. I'm trying to lose 12 pounds by game day. Started out at 182.2 pounds, and I'm trying to get down to below 170. The math says it's reasonable. Every piece of medical advice I've read has said it's a reasonable goal. Through 1 week, I am on pace. I lost 1.2 pounds last week, so we're on the right track here. Yeah, I got a bunch of new gym equipment recently, and I'm doing everything at home. So I got no excuses. I gotta just buckle down and do it. And I'm properly motivated by the showdown and supporting SACE as a great cause. So if you want to support me in that cause and in that endeavor, I'm gonna pin the link to my donation on my Twitter profile right after this broadcast here. So y'all can help me out and help SACE out through a donation if you want to do so. And yeah, shameless plug for me. But other than that, thanks for tuning in, and I'll pass it over to Dash.
No need for shameless plugs. It all goes to that great cause, and that's what matters. So absolutely hop in the comments, donate to Lotsy, go to anybody that's got their link up and donate to them. Quite honestly, it doesn't really matter. Lotsy, I fully plan on losing 12 pounds at the game. And I'm going to leave that there. All right. This was awesome, you guys. Really, really fun. I'll just say one more thank you to all the regulars in the chat. We can't really do this show without you guys. And, you know, guys like Some Stranger and Ace and Quaddy, you've been with us from the beginning, and we really appreciate all of that. Sarah, Rye Guy, Sunrise Records. What do you got? Whatever records?
Rediscovery Records.
Rediscovery Records. I always want to say Sunrise Records, but that's just my 80s mouth talking. So thank you to all of them. A couple things on their chat before we go. Some Stranger, where's Michael? Never see him anymore. We have him locked in a closet in a basement in Halifax, and
on a barge in the middle of
the Atlantic, and he has yet to figure out the solution to the escape room. That is a lie. Michael is going to continue forward with Oilers Live. That is his show. That's his baby. He's been doing it since the beginning, 10 years strong. He's going to take it back to the roots, do more interviewing, talk to guys that lead podcasts in the other teams on their cities. I shouldn't speak for him, but he's my brother and I love him and I know I can. He is busy with work. He is kicking ass, taking names, and creating a company for himself there at Turtle Island Technology Solutions that we're all very proud of him for doing. He's taken things to the next level there. And as a result, we're just trying to pick up the slack for him. So he'll jump on here every once in a while and be part of the Heavy Hockey podcast. But that's kind of why we created this show, so that we could do our thing, have some rotating hosts, get some different opinions, which we hope we are providing for you. So thanks to the heavies in the chat. Thanks to all you guys listening at home. I will end it on this. We all know this. We all live this. Edmonton has championship firepower. But what they're flirting with is chaos way too often. We know this. The 5-on-5 scoring, the depth scoring, it's always hurt. That said, we're second in the NHL in goals. We have the best power play in hockey and potentially on pace to have the best power play in the history of hockey. But they're still giving up too much. They need to tighten that up. Whether that happens this year, whether they let the youth bake and try to figure it out, whether we go and get loaded up at the trade deadline and try to take another run? I don't know. But what I do know is talent gets you to the race and habits get you to the cup. And we need to shore up those habits. That said, it's been a fun ride this year. And that is episode 9 of the Heavy Hockey Podcast. And we'll be back next week, everybody. Good night.